Live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Let's start the show. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Want to talk about a couple things this morning. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Markets did straight over the weekend, a little dip, but we had a correction. It was a decent correction, but yeah, overall everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and look at the markets this morning. All right, so Bitcoin's up 2.44%, Ethereum's up 0.53%, Ripple's up 1.23%, Bitcoin Cash down, Cardano down, Litecoin's up 1.62%. Litecoin's actually becoming one of my favorite coins for transferring and moving stuff between markets. Haven't really had that much of a hang up in regard to moving stuff around. It's got some pretty good pairs. I don't envision the markets adding Ripple as an option, even though banks have used it. There was some significant news in regard to the United Arab Emirates, UAE, using Ripple as a transaction medium for moving funds between banks. So that news is out there. So Ripple is getting adoption from the entities that it was designed for. But it's not something that I envision using to store or transfer wealth like that. Litecoin's actually made a lot of gains, and there's an impending fork with Litecoin that individuals could benefit from. I do want to talk about Neo again. Neo is airdropping a coin to all people who hold it. This is one of the benefits of holding Neo. And I mean, it's the benefit of holding a variety of coins. Bitcoin Cash was given to individuals who held Bitcoin. So whenever you get a fork, more often than not, you're going to get an airdrop for the coins that are derivatives of it. But the difference between getting an airdrop for a cryptocurrency coin versus a token coin is that a cryptocurrency coin doesn't have much more utility outside of a store of wealth. That's it. So if you got Bitcoin Cash, it's great. It goes up, it goes down in value. That's great, depending on whether or not people adopt that particular currency and use it. And Bitcoin Cash did receive mass adoption. That's why it's up to where it is right now at $1,263 a coin. So getting that for free, that's nice. It's free money. You can turn that back in or whatever. But it's if it stops becoming viable as a currency, then yeah, it depreciates significantly. The more utility a token has, or the more utility a currency has, in my opinion, or not even my opinion, the more utility a currency has, the greater its value. And so we know that Neo is basically a development platform. So these tokens that are coming out that are associated with Neo are going to have a much greater stay of value in the long term, in my opinion. I believe that's what's going to happen. So, Neo was a sound investment, and it's continuing to pay off in spades. So that's just something to be aware of. I want to talk a little bit about stablecoins. I'm talking about the fluctuation when it comes to value for particular currencies and coins, because you never know, whether or not a project is going to take off or flop, or a technology is going to be adopted. Bitcoin Cash was basically created by individuals who worked on the original Bitcoin, so its chance of adoption was significantly high. But if somebody comes out with the currency that isn't adopted, then you end up having a coin that falls to the floor. And then you also have things like market corrections as well. So you have volatile coins and volatile currencies, but then you also have a volatile market. And whenever you have a volatile market, you run into the issue of, am I going to withdraw my funds and put it on the sidelines for a while? What coin do I rush to that's going to sustain its value during, a market crash or market correction? And we know every single transaction takes a certain amount of currency in order to be enacted. It's not a significant amount of currency. Maybe it's like 3 cents or $1 or whatever. But multiple transactions, especially if you're dealing with something like trading bots or whatever, you're going to lose. You're going to lose a little bit of cash or a little bit of value as you continue to move your stuff around. So this is where stable coins come into play, because not every single exchange operates using fiat currency. Coinbase actually has a bank account, so you can transfer your funds from Ethereum to the USD if you want to, but you have to be on that market. So if I'm on Binance, Binance doesn't deal in fiat currency. The closest thing to fiat currency is their stablecoin that they subscribe to and use, the USD Tether, which is basically 1 Tether equals 1 American dollar. So, but there's a lot of controversy behind Tether and whether or not, they actually have the money that they say they do, if there's a run on the banks, if anybody goes and tries to take out Tether, if everybody goes and tries to take out Tether right now, or their Tether holdings, will everybody be able to get their complete return for their dollar? Is it a really one-to-one? There was some controversy in regard to their auditor who quit earlier this year, and so everybody there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding that particular currency, but it's still being used, it's still viable in the marketplace right now until further news comes out, and it's still linked even with all of the speculation around it. The value of that currency has not dropped or gone higher. Why? Because they're tacked to the U.S. dollar. This is akin to how things used to be in our banking system before 1913, where you had a bunch of different banks in the U.S. that all had their currencies. There were different currencies for different banks, and they were all backed by different things: gold, land, whatever. And there was a lot of instability. There would be runs on certain banks and whatnot, where individuals weren't confident in their bank anymore, confident in the fact that their bank actually had what they said they had to back up the amount of money that was in there. So this is the same thing that's going on in the crypto world right now, and the answer to that, is the stable coin. Like I said before, Tether has had a certain amount of controversy around it, so there have been projects, so there's a project in play right now that's being run by individuals from Stanford. One second here. So, I'm just going to run through here. So, what are stablecoins and why are they poised to impact the crypto economy? This article basically just goes over stablecoins in general and what they are. Like I told you, they're tied to a fiat currency. They're tied to something solid. They're tied to something that can be, exchanged for a stable source of value, in the real world. So. Basically, here, this is what I wanted to talk about. So the TrueCoin project is building a USD-backed stablecoin that is 100% collateralized, legally protected, and transparently audited. These are some of the issues that Tether has run up against. The team comes out of Stanford, Palantir, and Google. Its backers include Founders Fund, Angel, Starford, StartX, and Block Tower Capital. TrueCoin has developed a legal framework for collateralized cryptocurrencies in collaboration with Cooley and Arnold and Porter, and has grown a network of fiduciary compliance and banking partners. So this is a coin or a project to definitely look out for in the absence of Tether, and there will be more stable coins like this that pop up all over the world to reflect what's going on in their respective markets. This is the gateway drug. In my opinion, to stepping out of the USD backed marketplaces are the marketplaces the cryptocurrency marketplaces that actually allow you to transfer into the US dollar. And so, as more exchanges set up pairs with these stable coins, you'll see people migrating between markets, or it could just become a stable coin of preference. I would hope that there would be, in a beautiful world, an ideal world, there will be tethers, not literal tethers. I mean, not like the coin tether, but there will be stable coins on multiple markets, allowing individuals to move their money between exchanges and basically protect their investments as markets crash, because we know that markets can implode. The volatility of cryptocurrency causes us to have to run and move our investments around a lot, based off of something that's just announced in the news. And if you have a trading bot, you can have trading bots that actually deal in these stable coins versus some of the more volatile coins. So I can just upload new settings to my trading bot instead of it actually using Ether as a hedge, and Ether is dropping just as much as everything else is. I can hop out of that and reprogram that bot to utilize my stable coin of choice. So that's a good thing. Next thing I wanted to talk about was a development in the U.S. The Arizona Senate basically passed a bill that will allow individuals to pay their taxes in cryptocurrency. So this is great. This is another thing in regard to mass adoption, because if I can put aside my money every year, or every paycheck, and start to invest in cryptocurrencies and know that I can actually utilize it in the real world, in some shape, form, or fashion, then yeah, I mean the question is whether or not I'm pretty sure you'll be taxed, as you convert and pay for things in cryptocurrency. So this is where federal law kind of is going to bump heads with state law. If I'm paying my state taxes in crypto, that's technically a transaction between myself and the state. And we also know at the federal level that all crypto transactions based off of this new federal tax code are all crypto transactions are going to be evaluated. So the moment that I convert or use my crypto to pay off my taxes or whatever, I'm going to be taxed on a taxable. It's going to become a taxable event, so I'm going to be taxed for paying my taxes. So this is kind of some bullshit that I foresee coming out, but it's still good for adoption. I'm pretty sure if you wait a year and you set aside a crypto kitty in regard to what you're going to use to pay your taxes, whenever you do use them to pay your taxes, you're not going to take as much of a hit for that transaction. But it's still kind of bullshit to me. But it's still it's still good for crypto. Any kind of exposure like this is good for crypto, and it gets people talking. It drives people toward adopting crypto, asking about it, setting up wallets, putting aside some funds. And we know millennials and Generation Z, they're highly involved and invested, in cryptocurrencies, and are more willing to do that, over stocks. And you can't use stocks to pay taxes, but you can use crypto. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing to me. Lastly, I want to talk about, another giveaway I want to plan. This is going to be, $10. What I want you to do in this video is basically tag a link, put your Litecoin address, but also tag a link to a white paper that's interesting to you. I want to, this whole community is crowdsourced, and so I want to crowdsource, potential white papers to analyze. It can be, a white paper for an ICO, it can be a white paper for an established coin, but just your favorite coin or whatever, or your favorite token. But yeah, just pull out some white papers, because, I want to start reviewing these white papers, and talking about them and their implications or potential application, and examine some of these projects. So go ahead and tag a white paper, put it in there. I'll do a random, selection of, for a winner, and I'll send you 10 Litecoin. So free money for doing just a little bit of homework. When did you ever get paid for doing homework? So that's a beautiful thing. Potentially paid for doing homework if you win the competition. And so yeah, go ahead and and I'm only giving it away to subscribers. So you have to be a subscriber. If it's a bot or just somebody out there spamming sites or whatever, I'm not interested. I mean, it's great that you're here, driving up views and everything, but I want subscribers. So you have to be a subscriber. Litecoin will be given to you. Put that in your comment, your Litecoin address, and then also your the white paper, in question. And Wednesday I will do a review of that white paper, or of a random white paper, and then I'll also do the drawing for 10 Litecoin. So yeah, 10 USD Litecoin. So yeah, that's about it. I'm continuing developing the Udemy course, continuing to develop animations. I want this thing to look slick and nice and something that you can even like send your children to, or your grandma to. I'm gonna try to watch my language and try to conduct myself in a professional manner. So this can be widely adopted and spread, because right now we're at a stage where we need to make sure individuals are receiving. Where individuals are receiving more knowledge. More knowledge means more people invest in crypto, and the greater the agency, the financial agency that we have. So until next time, respect the tech.